Hello, this is Diane Allen, and I'm going to walk you through a sneak peek of what's in between the covers of these Fingerboard workbooks. All of the books have the same format, and we are looking at the cover page of the first position book for the violin. The typical copyright page, a list of all the Fingerboard workbooks, and a table of contents in case you've never seen one before. This is where I thank all the special people that have influenced me in helping me create the Fingerboard Workbook series. And here is the introduction. Now we start to get to some of the content. On this page you'll find the master fingerboard, and what is bold is the area of the fingerboard that is covered in this particular book. You can always download these charts straight from the website, and they will also be included in the book as well, as you see here on page 8. Next, we have the essential background information. I do want to talk a little bit about this page. We basically all need to start at the same place. Typically, if you have completed book 1 of any method of teaching, whether it's Essential Elements, Suzuki, the old-fashioned one, A Tune a Day, just as long as you can read a few notes, you know how to play perhaps all 4 fingers on each string in first position, you are totally ready to, from that point, jump off and take the big leap and learn all of the notes. So this page directs you to a video that elaborates on half steps and whole steps if you need some brushing up or you've never learned about how to figure out half steps and whole steps. Talks about the diagrams that we're going to be using in the charts and gives you a little information about some fingering. Here's the instructions of how to fill out the workbook, starting with the musical example, the note names, then fill out the fingerboard chart, the note names and the finger numbers. I think you could read by yourself. I'm going to show you the next page, which is actually an example page. And so you'll see the first step is to fill out the key signature. In this case, we have a B flat. The next step is to identify the 2 notes in that example. So we actually have a B flat and another B flat. The next step you do is you plot them on the fingerboard, and then you assign them finger numbers. And I will talk about the interval in just a minute. We'll get to see some more descriptions of the intervals. If you look at the bottom example, you'll just see another one using the same process. After you fill out the workbook, you're only halfway done, and this page explains how to experience the workbook. You'll sing this. So if we go back, this is my favorite part actually. If you sing these notes, I forgot to get a I don't have perfect pitch. I'm going to make up a B flat. Sorry guys, if you all have perfect pitch. B flat, and then 1 low, 4 low, and then you look here and you sing B flat, 1 low, 4 low. And then you take out your instrument and you play looking at the chart and you play looking at the musical example. That's my favorite part. It's where it really gets hammered in. This is the keyboard fingerboard chart. If you like to have the piano keyboard to refer to, I include it on these charts. There's the range of notes posted at the top and the fingers as if all of those notes are naturals, the fingerings. And then you'll have the chart and the fingerings. There's an explicit video on how to navigate on this chart on the essential background page, and I like to call this your cheat sheet. I would totally tear this thing out or download it from the website, www.fingerboardworkbookseries.com, and totally use it to refer to as you're filling it out, because you're going to fill out so many examples you're going to end up memorizing it anyway. So don't be so hard on yourself. Use this to refer to often and get those examples filled in. So here's part 1. You have a description of, on each cover page, you'll have a description of the interval. So this talks about half steps and whole steps and how to identify them. And then we start in with the examples that you will be filling out and singing and playing. At the end of each chapter, you'll have 3 review questions. And this is where we really pull things together. We describe what the notes look like on the staff. Are they on lines? Are they on spaces? So for example, half steps and whole steps. Let's take a look at one. We have space, line, space, line, space, and they're all in a row. And that's what half steps and whole steps look like on the staff. And then you'll catalog all the fingerings you use. I know that it gets a little crazy with all the lows and the highs, but if you just do the finger numbers alone, you'll notice some patterns very quickly. And then at the bottom, this is a subjective, make up your own description of what the intervals sound like so that you can remember yourself. So for example, a whole step might sound like the first 2 notes of a scale, da da. A half step sounds very narrow, da da. So you could just make up your own description and write it down. We then go on to part 2, which is chromatics. Chromatics are, here's the description page. Chromatics are scales made up of all half steps. Gives you some hints on fingering. And then here are the examples. Part 3 is thirds. Again, we have a description page explaining the size of the thirds. Minor thirds are a half step larger than a whole step, and major thirds a whole step larger than a whole step. And you'll find each interval as you proceed through the book explained. So here's what the thirds look like. At this point, the rest of the book is very similar. You'll have the review page at the end of each. I do want to go back to that review page because I forgot to mention something. At the bottom of the review page, it says to go back and replay all of the examples. And you want to remember how they look on the staff, what the fingerings are, and what they sound like as you go back and do your review. Thanks for taking a peek in between the covers. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. And I'm always digging the live stream sessions that we've been having, and I hope to meet you there as well. So thanks again for looking, and happy practicing.